Those of you who are currently in column formation, honor guard, go ahead and take us out. As the honor guard enters the ceremony flats, attendees go ahead and take your positions in the center roped off areas. Honor guard and cannon crew, you'll be taking the far right side. Brothers and sisters, welcome. Welcome one and all. We are here today to speak of and remember those who have left this world too soon. We have too much left undone. We are here to make sure the memory never fades, and we remember why we are all here and why we are inspired to continue doing what we do, and why this community is such a prestigious place, and why all of us have come here and done so much for it. Before we begin the eulogies, I'd like to introduce myself to the people standing next to me, for those of all who will be listening and for those who are welcomed into Yellow and Black later in life. My name is First Sergeant Jake Grimm. I am the current First Sergeant of Bravo Troop, 1st Battalion, 7th Cavalry Regiment. Standing next to me is Major Lacombe, the current CO of Charlie Company, 1-7. And on my other side is Colonel Jarvis. We stand here today to address all of you as equals, as brothers and sisters of the Yellow and Black, and to bring forward the deeds of those who have fallen and remembrance of why we are here. Behind me, as you can see, is a monument to the fallen. It is a tribute of stone and steel, representing the love we have for them and the respect they have earned from our community as a whole. The fires that burn upon the pedestals is the same as in their hearts and ours as well. It represents the fervor to fight and improve, to meld and sharpen, to build and reinforce all of our values and the standard they all held so high and what they gave to us to carry. The following will be the eulogies of our fallen, to show but glimpses into their lives, into their motivations, into their values that led them to be the heralds of the shield we all carry on our shoulders. The first one to speak will be Colonel Jarvis on behalf of the General of the Army, Chance.
Thank you, First Sergeant Grimm. Greetings and welcome to everybody in this here celebration of life. The lives of those who were once among us but now remain with us in our collective memories. General Chance apologizes for not being here in person. He has a prior engagement which he couldn't get out of. As I read through these next passages, I'll be reading on behalf of the General, so any I's reference are to him. Back when I enlisted in the Cav on 14th of December 2008, I never would have thought that I would be in the position that I am now. I have been gaming for over 10 years and have been a part of many clans when I decided to join this one. I really liked the server and the people playing in it, and figured it would be a similar experience to what I'd had from other groups. I soon learned that I was wrong. The Cav is so much more, at least to me. We have a saying that states that the Cav is more than a clan. It's a brotherhood. And I truly believe that. I've been very fortunate over the past 12 years to have met some outstanding people, some of them who were taken from us far too soon. I will try to share those thoughts of whom I am most familiar with, and this may take a minute, so please bear with me. I first met Major Krazee in my boot camp session. He had a very low and gruff voice, sounded like a heavy smoker. I would soon learn that it was due to the double lung transplant that he had in 2005. James Foster or Brigadier General Krazee, as we all know him, was a middle-aged man, a veteran of the US Army, and had a zeal for life. He and I were about the same age, so we got on fairly well. This was a good thing, as he was my mentor in S1, just as membership in the Cav was about to explode from a total of 40 members to over 350 when the 7th Cav adopted Armor 2. We spent many hours late into the night processing new Milpax records, as well as regular record updates. He loved to tell dirty jokes to make you laugh, but he would set you straight in a heartbeat if you got out of line. He loved the Cav. He invested a lot of time, money, and effort into developing the foundations of the organization that we all love today. He was a good friend with a unique outlook on life. I miss his friendship and his wisdom. The last line of his bio on Milpax reads, "So here I sit, a proud member of the 7th Cavalry, and you will have to kill me to get me out." On August 30th, he would have been 53 years old. Rest in peace, brother. You are missed. Ronnie Coldblood Bussey, pronounced B-U-Z, joined the US Navy in 1968 as a CB and served 2 tours in Vietnam. A CB, for those of you who don't know, is the US Navy's version of a combat engineer. After serving in Vietnam, he joined the Mississippi National Guard in 1971, retiring in 1990 after having served 21 years as an officer in the Armor Corps, commanding an M60 battle tank. Ronnie enlisted in the 7th Cav as a private on the 20th of June, 2010. He was a model trooper whom I got to know one fateful night after a few rounds of America's Army. After talking with him for only a few minutes, you could tell that he was the real deal. He instantly conveyed a feeling of trustworthiness, and through his stories about his service in the military, you knew you were dealing with a special personality. Due to his real experience in the military, he was promoted by General of the Army Plumley to the rank of Command Sergeant Major, and served in that capacity until his passing from cancer on the 27th of September 2012. He thought so much of this unit that from his deathbed, he took the time to write me and the Cav a final farewell. You can view his final farewell linked in the member announcements or the lounge of the forums. I have never quite gotten over his loss. I think about him almost daily. Rest in peace, brother. You are sorely missed. Brigadier General Stephen Traycer enlisted in the Cav on the 6th of September 2009 as a member of Charlie Company, 2nd Battalion, 7th Cavalry Regiment, which back in those days was the Call of Duty World at War, or COD 5, area of operation. As hard as it may seem to imagine, he was a few years older than me. Traycer is one of the reasons why we actually document our rules, regulations, and procedures the way we do today. And before you speak ill of him because of this, it was his pursuit of fairness and equal treatment in the Cav that sent us down this path. He was always asking, why do we do this? One thing that the Cav was inconsistent on was the discipline of its members, and as such, he became the first Judge Advocate General of the 7th Cav. He helped to institute the first versions of the UCMJ used by the Cav and worked to ensure that all Cav members were treated equally under the rules. The experience and treatment of the membership was his constant concern. Brigadier General Stephen Traycer suffered from ALS and lost his battle, unfortunately, with the disease on the 18th of November, 2017. Rest in peace, brother. You are missed. Colonel Anthony Raven Aviles enlisted in the 7th Cav not too long after I did in February 2009. I was lucky enough to participate in his boot camp. Tony was a big guy with a big heart and a sense of humor to match. Like General Krazee, he loved his not so politically correct jokes. A reference to cornbread comes to mind. Don't ask, you really don't want to know. He was always willing to lend you his ear to problems and provide advice and support when needed.
User joined your
He was
channel.
extremely loyal to the Cav, serving as the commander of the 2nd Battalion until his health issues made it hard for him to be online for extended periods of time.
User
Colonel
joined your
Aviles
channel.
left us on the 1st of May 2018 due to a heart failure. Rest in peace, brother. You are missed.
Thank you, Colonel Jarvis. The next two eulogies are for Corporal Tarkas and Specialist Rhea Novak. Corporal Tarkas, born February 1961 and passed away from us in December 2013. They joined the Cav in 2012 in the month of August. They reached the rank of corporal and made a number of friends and completed a number of operations
User
where
in your
they
channel
were
timed
the pivot point between victory and defeat. They joined during the period of time where the weight of the world was on their shoulders, as not just an NCO, but as a trooper as well. Though they may not have seemed to have done as much as some of our other fallen that we talk about today, but their memories still stay with every single one of us, and we remember them just as much. For the fallen never changes, and we treat each of them as dearly as each other. They still set an example for us to follow, and they continue to raise that mantle higher so they can see us from the halls of the fallen.
User joined your channel.
Specialist Rhea Novak, born May 1990 and passed from us September 2016. They joined the Cav in the year 2015 in the month of November and was the wife of James Novak, another member of our community. And she was taken too early in her time, lost to us during an incident that broke few and wounded many in many ways. She was a fantastic pilot and a wonderful person to have at your back. She will be missed as much as any of our fallen, and we remember her name in the fires of our hearts. Sergeant Kyle McGehee, born May 1987, passed from us 2018 in the month of June. Kyle joined the Cav in May 2017. He reached the rank of sergeant, was an SL for the majority of his time, completed a number of NCAV courses that he not only helped write, but he also helped make sure were completed, and he allowed for the constant training of his brothers and improvement of their skills. He was a ranger and is the first sapper of the 7th Cavalry, and on top of that was lead of 3 different S3 departments, as well as the NCOIC, and the man was an example to follow and a caring SL for all of his brothers. He was an inspiration to us all. Kyle was a good man, a great man, and as stated before, was an inspiration for what it meant to be in the Cav. He was always reaching for more, helping anyone he could, and teaching every hour of the day. He asked a number of people in the Cav, and they will tell you that he was the inspiration that brought them into the Cav to start with, because he always recruited and he always brought people forward, making them their best selves. He created a number of ideas, from mortars to explosive usages, infantry movements, heavy weapon usage. He made the Cav a great place to be, and was always there to be a rock for you to lean on in your darkest times. Following his example caused a number of leaders to spring forward to what you see today, and learning of his passing hurt a number of people in ways that never thought possible. Writing of his actions and the lives he touched would take hours, even days. And I have never seen a man more deserving of any award than him. We will miss him dearly, but his example will remain. This is something we can all strive to be, our better selves, and in turn pay it forward to our brothers so that this loss never occurs again. Next eulogy will be read by Major Lacombe.
On April 25th, 2020, Shane Carter took his own life after a long personal battle with post-traumatic stress disorder. He is survived by his loving wife, his son, daughter, and his parents. Shane served as a combat medic in the U.S. Army during Operation Iraqi Freedom, during which he was on the front lines of the conflict, placing himself directly in harm's way on multiple occasions, putting his own life in front of the lives of his brothers. Due to his actions in combat, he was awarded multiple medals for heroism, including a combat medical badge and an Army Commendation Medal with Valor device. He took great pride in those medals, knowing that he faithfully served not only his country, but also his fellow soldiers. Prior to his death, Shane continued to serve his community near his hometown of Wimauma, Florida, at Polk County Fire Rescue as a firefighter EMT. He was in the process of furthering his education to become a paramedic. In 2014, Shane joined the 7th Cavalry Regiment, eventually rising to the rank of Major. He was the company commander of Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, as well as the executive officer of the S3 Department. His leadership, devotion to duty, and his unrelenting resolve for the men he served further illustrate his personal values and set the benchmark for all other leaders to emulate. His legacy will not be forgotten.
Thank you, Major Lacombe. These fallen brothers, these fallen angels of the Cavalry, they are the reason we all stand here today. Why we all hold ourselves to such a standard. Why we have what we have in our lives, and why we all continue to live to their example to reach the bar that they have set, so that one day we will see them again at the gates of Valhalla and join them in celebrating not only their lives, but our own as well. At this point, I would implore that all of you come forward and pay respects at the tomb of Zora Fallen, to touch the stone and steel, and allow it to strengthen your hearts and clear your mind of doubt, so that we can go forward with vigor and determination, continue holding the mantle of responsibility given to us by our fallen. Attendees, please follow the Honor Guard and Cannon crew and pay respects to the stone. Afterwards, please return to your positions so when we continue the ceremony. Brothers, turn your attention to the flag and salute for taps. Regiment, order, arms. Honor guard, present, arms. We will now salute these heroes of the cavalry with the fire of their hearts and the sound of our rifles, to christen the very air with our presence, so as to let the heavens know that we are still here, fighting as much as they would want us to be. Honor guard, ready? Aim. Fire. Aim. Fire. Aim. Fire. Guard. Order. Arms. Now, as you may have noticed, there is one monument here that bears no name, where those who have been lost and never found are kept in memory and tales of heroism. We cannot always be able to see what happens past our lives. Sometimes we are lucky enough to make an impact on someone so great it stops the black thoughts from creeping in. There are also times where we are not so lucky. This tomb represents those who have been lost to memory and time, and stands to remind us that life is precious and fragile, and that we are all the keepers of our brothers, and that the effort is never truly wasted. And for that is all what they would want from us. We will
User
now
left your
salute
channel.
those lost to time with a cannon barrage, a 3-gun salute from our own volunteers from 1st Platoon Bravo Troop. Crew, ready? Aim. Fire. Aim. Fire. Aim. Fire. Crew, dismount. Finally, the last act of our ceremony. Our own generous pilots from Alpha Company, 1st Battalion of the 7th Cavalry Regiment, will do a missing in action flyover, also known as a missing man formation. Representing the Valkyries, we will all meet at one point in our lives, and that us standing here and our lives themselves have meaning no matter what others may
No
say
whisper target
and
found.
what you may think of oneself. And that standing with your brothers no matter what cost, no matter what actions may take place, is never taken for
No
granted.
whisper target. No whisper target found.
This concludes the memorial part of the ceremony. We will now go into closing remarks from the General of the Army Chance himself that will be read by Colonel Jarvis. So I will stand back and give him.
I will now conclude today's ceremony with some more words from the GOA chants. We've heard several eulogies today, and these brothers are not the only members remembered in Arlington. These are just the ones that we've been able to talk about best. I thank you all for taking the time to listen to our recollections. As I get older, I worry that I might forget, but the impressions left are far too profound. I feel truly blessed to have been able to meet these men, even if that time was short. I will leave you with this final remark that I posted back in 2016. The wisdom left to impart is this: do not take those things that you truly care about for granted. I am here to tell you that they will not always be here for you to experience and enjoy. When you get a moment, stop and think about who and what is in your life that brings you joy and happiness. Take the time to appreciate those things, and especially those people in your life that make it better. They will not always be here to do that. As I get older, I lose more and more of these things. Some are taken far beyond their time for no good reason. So do not take these things for granted. Enjoy these things while you can. Before you know it, they are gone. Thank you, everybody, for attending and honoring those brothers that we have lost. Respectfully, General of the Army, Chance.